Hey folks, and welcome to the very first tutorial to ever go up on phpscripting.com. I thought that an introduction to variables would be appropriate, seeing as this is the very first tutorial, starting with some basic beginners type stuff, moving on to more advanced things as time goes on. Variables are a very big part of using PHP. As most experienced coders know, working with variables is a very large part of PHP. And this is basically taking the hello world concept and expanding on it a little bit. I even introduced using integers as variables and doing a bit of mathematics. I hope you find this useful and stay tuned for many more tutorials in the future at phpscripting.com. We'll start off with a variable simply called string. As you can see, all variables start with a money sign. This is just part of the PHP language. We'll call it PHP tutorials. We'll take that variable and echo it. So it's basically like the hello world concept. Same thing. After echoing it, we open it in a browser. There you have it. Now we'll take two variables and string them together. Put them together. HTML must be escaped. So basically that space I just created between the two quotation marks is HTML. Really, that's how a browser will parse that. The dots separate the variable from the HTML. There are many different concepts and ways of escaping HTML, but this is how I do it. As we can see, our two strings have been put together. Now we'll use integers as variables and do some math. PHP is very good with math, understands basic math signs and symbols. Now we can define our total, which is total equals string plus string B. In this case, it's addition. Echo the total. Open it up in the browser, and we have our sum. Now we'll try subtraction. Open it up in the browser, -2, which is what we'd expect. -2, pardon me. Then we try division. Again, we get our answer. And then we'll try multiplication. Voila. Well, I hope you learned something from this short tutorial in PHP and the introduction to variables. I will be doing some text in the blog post as well, explaining some of my typos. A variable is always defined by a money sign at the beginning of it. That's what I meant to say earlier in the video. For the next variable video, we'll get into concepts that are a little more advanced. Perhaps we'll introduce some queries to a database, pulling variables that way. We'll see where things go. I hope you enjoyed this and you learned something. And for the people that already know PHP, I apologize if this is boring to you. As time goes on, we'll get into things that are more advanced. Most of you probably know more than I do. I don't know. I only have one free script at this time. Be sure to check it out. It's a pretty cool image gallery creator. It's using Colorbox, which is open source, and PHP, and it creates some pretty nice responsive galleries. You could even create them from a mobile phone. Stay tuned for more.